Here I am talking to a lens. It's 2026 where this is normal, but still I find this fascinating and sometimes awkward. Nonetheless, here we are. Hello there, my name is Smitty and welcome to the world of everything Smitty, where I combine for my love for fashion and music. So today I'm making a bustless corset. I drafted this pattern and it fits like a glove. I'm gonna pick apart the pattern. I'm gonna use this to cut out my shell fabric, which is gonna be denim, 100% denim. If you haven't already seen my video where I made a Loewe inspired denim jacket, go check that out. These are the remnants from it. So I figured I would also make a corset. Hello there. So last you saw I was cutting the excess off my seams and pressing it down before my camera died. So since then I sewed the lining exactly the same way that I sewed the shell, and then I've also pinned my lining and my shell together so I could sew it right size together. I'm gonna sew on the machine the bottom of the corset because it's scalloped, and I'm gonna close the top by hand just because there's a lot less curves and everything like that. It'd be a lot easier in theory to sew the top by hand than the bottom. So I'm gonna sew around the edge, along the whole bottom, and then back up the other edge before we turn it inside out. Okay, so you see how even though I pressed it down, the purple is still kind of poking through when I'm looking at the right side. I'm gonna try to understitch. It's a type of stitch that just secures the lining in place so it doesn't roll to the right side. Okay, so I added understitching. You can only get so close to the corners when you're understitching, but I stopped there and then just picked up here on the curve, and I got pretty close to the seam, making sure that my seam allowance was facing towards my lining. And when you look on the right side, now you don't have that lining poking through. I'm gonna sew 2 lines on either side of each seam to create a channel for my metal boning. So we have the channel sewn down. I decided to go with the gold top stitch color just for that denim-y vibe, you know? I like it. I like it a lot. So when I was doing the top stitches, I made the thread very long on the bottom, specifically for the reason that I could pull the top stitch thread to the lining side and then make a knot. So I'm gonna do that with every single one of the top stitch threads that finish at the bottom. I'm not going to do it on the top because I'm going to be using bias binding on the top. I finished putting in the boning. Now all that's left is to close up this top seam and do the grommets. So I need to cut out some bias binding from my leftover denim that I have. Okay, so I'm actually gonna make bias binding out of a square piece of fabric. I'm gonna link a video down below that I use in order to help me make this piece of bias binding, because I honestly don't fully remember, but I do know you have to start with a square piece of fabric. So I'll take you along to show you how I make it, but check out that video for a more in-depth tutorial on how to make bias binding. My hand stitching is finally done. Very pretty, very pretty. It looks awesome. That took me a little under an hour and 15 minutes to stitch this clothes by hand, but very well worth it. So the last step that I need to do is install the grommets on the edge so I can lace this up. Here, the polyester satins.
See the green here?
Oh, that's the Jamaica flag green?
Green here, Sarah.
Yeah.
For
I
the
got you.
Jamaican color.
Right. Yeah, I have Kelly green.
And the black.
Uh-huh. Grandma, if I make you a birthday dress, look at this.
What is I am wondering.
Huh? This is so nice.
What you going to make me?
I'm going to make you like a nice, pretty African dress with a head wrap, you know?
Well, maybe I could allow you to make what you want. Alright.
If only you'll allow me. What do you think of this one? Do you have a favorite color? Ooh.
I like this color.
Oh, you like this one? Okay, we can work with that. Ugh. Ooh, look at the inside too. This is very pretty, Grandma. Uh-huh. Ew. Hi, Abby. What is this? Okay, fit check. Black turtleneck from my grandma. Thrifted this white oversized cotton t-shirt. Actually, I think it's partially polyester. DIY corsets. This is from an antique shop. Jewelries are from a bunch of different places, but they're mad cute. Same for earrings, a lot of different places. Suede boots, plaid black and white skirt, insulated stockings, that's what I was gonna say. And then my leather jacket. She's a real cutie. Very, very cute. So we just got the hair did. Now I'm off to Blue Note Jazz Club to go see Kota the Friend. I don't really know him as an artist. I've heard of him before, so I look forward to seeing him. And I love jazz music and I love live music. So I know this show cannot do any harm. So the Fashion Institute of Technology is always having some sort of art exhibit, and since it's right across the street from my hair salon, I always stop by to see what's going on. That necklace has avocado seeds as part of its design. That's so fire. It was featuring a lot of indigenous pieces, a lot of indigenous work, and it was very beautiful artwork that the students were showcasing.
Really got much, but more than she did last year. And boy, that was a tough one. And she ain't never going back there. I feel you like shit.
I'm grateful to Kota, the other musicians, the Blue Note for such a beautiful cap to my night. The music, the food I got, the people I sat next to were all such a vibe. I also got some of Kota's merch and some pics with him after. We're mad cute. I'm grateful to you as well for joining me on my creative journey. I hope this reminds you to create how you see fit and remember to do what you love. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in my next video.